BCP Supplier Code of Conduct for Sustainable Business Development. BCP provide our suppliers with the Supplier Code of Conduct for Sustainable Business Development, the guidelines on ESG or the environment, social and governance aspects for supplier to achieve sustainable business growth together with BCP, as well as encouraging supplier to have a policy and practice guidelines about sustainable procurement. Such operations have 5 aspects as follows. 1. Business ethics. 2. Labor practice and human rights. 3. Safety and occupational health. 4. Environment. And 5. Social development participation. Business ethic. 1. Good governance. Our suppliers have to comply with the rules and regulations relating to business conduct, adhering to accountability, transparency, and auditability under the principles of good governance to their stakeholders. 2. Fair operating practice. Our suppliers are committed to fair treatment and responsibility for their stakeholder in addition to operating business under fair competition rules. 3. Information disclosure. Our suppliers shall neither disclose nor execute BCP information without prior approval from BCP or interfere with others' confidential information. For intellectual property. Our suppliers shall respect and not violate others' intellectual property and set measure to prevent such violations. 5. Conflict of interest. BCP upholds business ethics and aware that without ethics a sustainable business cannot be realized. Suppliers, as a result, are expected to follow the same principle, refraining from all conduct that causes a conflict of interest between our partners and BCP personnel. 6. Anti-corruption. Our suppliers shall not encourage misconduct and corruption by enforcing anti-corruption measures while promoting internal control and internal audit. In addition, our suppliers have to cooperate with BCP in suppressing misconduct and corruption and participating in the declaration of the Thai private sector opposing any kind of misconduct and corruption. 7. Code of Conduct Policy Compliance. Our suppliers must strictly adhere to ethical business practices without engaging in corruption, bribery, or illegal activity. This includes refraining from providing benefits or banquets to BCP employees or their relatives on any occasion and refraining from doing business with them to connect with BCP's business operations. 8. Personal data protection. Our suppliers are required to fully abide by all applicable laws on the protection of personal data, including policies, requirements, rules, or regulations relating to the collection, use, and disclosure of personal data as well as providing appropriate protective measures. 9. No-gift policy. Bangchak has announced a no-gift policy of all kinds and regardless of value throughout all festivals and occasions, to comply with good corporate governance and create good norms in business operations. BCP has asked for cooperation from suppliers in refraining from giving gifts to executives, employees, and those who work on behalf of the company to conduct business with transparency and without anticipating any other unethical benefits in return. Labor practice and human rights. 1. Labor law compliance. Our suppliers have to completely comply with labor laws and human rights. 2. Equitable treatment. Respect the dignity of employees and treat them fairly and equally. They must not violate human rights, use forced labor, or discriminate. Even in the presence of differences in nationality, religion, gender, including LGBTQ+ diversity, age, education, beliefs, disabilities, or any other matters. 3. Labor protection. Our suppliers, as employers, have to protect their employees with their responsibilities as stated in related laws. The supplier's employees must be at least 15 years old. In the case of members of the workforce aged between 15 and 18, if unavoidable, they have to be protected, including their wages and other benefits and rights, in accordance with labor laws. 4. Labor force. Our suppliers shall not force their labors in any form of forced labor that include physical punishment, threat, detention, intimidation, harassment, human trafficking, or violence. In addition, suppliers shall have a complaint handling system with appropriate mechanisms, including keeping the complainant's information confidential. 5. Wages, fringe benefits, and working hours. Our suppliers shall strictly follow related laws about wages, overtime fees, remunerations, working hours, and welfare according to laws on time and also equal pay for equal work. In addition, suppliers must not force employees to work overtime longer than specified by laws. If necessary, this must be voluntary. 6. Termination of employment. In case of employment termination, our suppliers have to follow related legislation with fairness and legally. Safety and occupational health. 1. Safety and workplace environment. Strictly follow laws which were related to safety and occupational health, providing a healthy and safe work environment to reduce and control the effect of injuries, illness incidents, and emergency cases. Suppliers should be encouraged their employees to raise safety concerns without fear of retaliation. 2. Personal protective equipment. Our suppliers shall provide their employees with suitable and sufficient personal protective equipment. 3. Emergency response preparedness. Identify and evaluate any emergency situations, including preparing emergency plans and response procedures. Continuously provide training to their employees to ensure that they understand, take appropriate actions, and safely when an emergency occurs. Must report to BCP immediately in the event of an emergency that may affect BCP during operations or in the area of responsibility of BCP. Environment. 1. Laws, rules, and regulations compliance. The requirements of the factory license or other pertinent permits must be adhered to in full by our suppliers. Should have environmental management systems, such as waste management systems, effluent quality control systems, and air quality control systems. Should support the development of environmental management to achieve the Green Industry Level 2 onwards. 2. Efficient resource allocation and environmental friendly management. The 3 are reduce, reuse, and recycle should be adopted by our suppliers. And choose environmentally friendly goods and services and be mindful while doing any activities that could harm the environment, including biodiversity. 3. Development of strategies to mitigate and prevent environmental impacts. Our suppliers should promote energy-efficient practices throughout the whole value chain, whether in the areas of purchasing raw materials, manufacturing, transportation, or services. They ought to assist in creating the GHG inventory and promote adopting policies that will lessen greenhouse gas emissions and the effects of climate change. Social development participation. Our suppliers should conduct business that takes into consideration community and societal concerns and the effects business operations may cause to the surrounding community and participating in the improvement of their quality of life.